The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
All right, fam, what is up? We are live for our pilot episode here, CardCore Hobby Talk. I'm your host, Stephen Rychel. To the right of me, our producer, Mr. Editor and Professor, Mr. Eddie Vallecchio. To the right of him is Mr. Mark Lemay. He is the owner, founder of the Grading Authority, and Tom just left. But to the right of him is Kris. Is that Petrolini? Petrolini. All right, got to get the Italian in there.
That's right. That's right.
All right, fam. But just a quick description of this, obviously pilot episode here for our CardCore Hobby Talk fam. All right, Tom is back now since I guess he got back in here, but real quick, just throw it out there. What we're going to be doing with this is obviously we're going to be talking cards. We're going to be talking all aspects of hobbies, collecting, grading, events, all kinds of things. Anything has to do with it. Doesn't have to necessarily be sports hobbies. We could be talking about, TV shows, movies, whatever. There's all types of collectibles, all types of hobbying, all types of cards, and we're going to try to cover all of it from every angle we can. Obviously, with both of our guests here tonight, obviously being very, very involved in card hobbying, the events, big things along them natures. I guess real quick, let me throw it over to Mark and kind of give him a sec to introduce himself and let him introduce himself to our listeners, our fans, and
thank you, Steve.
Have it, buddy.
Appreciate it, man. Much love. I'm excited to be here for the inaugural episode of CardCore Hobby Talk. This is a really exciting time. I'm really stoked to partner up with Belly Up Sports and definitely get my boys in here, Tom and Kris, with the Maine Collectors Convention, which is popping off next month. And really excited to hear the story about, the growth of what they've experienced over the past few years in the hobby and growing this. I remember the first show, growing, which was actually a pretty decent sized show, growing that into now, way bigger heights and doing bigger things. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys. Excited to be here. So thanks for the intro, Steve.
I guess let's pass it over to Kris.
Yeah. So, I'm excited to be here. Tom and I started the Maine Collectors Convention, and like what Mark said, we started this as a one-day show at the Elks Lodge. I think it was like 25 tables, no autograph guests, and I think we had maybe like 15 vendors, but they had multiple tables, and then this show just kept growing and growing, and in large part to Tom and everything he's done with helping us grow the show, and Mark from PGA, and when they come full force. They have quite the following up here in Maine, and they make some killer slabs. I'm a big fan of this. You can see my background here, my TGA slabs up there. Some of those I had to pry away from Mark, but
had a swindle deal there. Had a swindle deal.
We did have to swing. I gave him some good deals to get some low grade cards from TGA, but those
not
are
low grade, low serial numbers.
Oh, low serial. Sorry, yeah, low serial. I think I have. What,
say low grade when we're talking.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, I think I have like a 17. I think is the low serial number I got.
Cole Anthony, isn't it?
It is Cole Anthony. It's sitting right up there.
Yeah. I got to get my hands on that.
It's going to take a lot to get rid of that one.
I got a good deal.
For the low serial number, for people that are just tuning in, just getting into the sport right now, can you kind of explain what that means?
Yeah, it's a good question. So there's actually a whole group of collectors out there looking for these low serial TGA slabs. When we launched at serial number 0000001. I don't know if there's that many zeros, but it seems like it. And then we went from there. So a lot of people out there are collecting those low serial numbers. And there are ways to be able to help find those sub 1,000, sub 500, and then even sub 100 slabs out there. And we're collectors, right? We collect all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My PC has like multiple PCs within it. I think we all have that going on.
Absolutely, we do.
Well, now that Tom spoke up, Tom, your turn to kind of introduce yourself to the people. Let everyone know who you are, how you got into hobbying, card, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me. Also, I got back into the hobby again. I collected as a kid, like most people in the 80s and the 90s. Got back into it as an adult, really, when my oldest son was old enough to play baseball. Cards kind of go hand in hand with playing as a kid, so we started buying him cards around like 2015, I think, and it was right around the time his age coincided with the time where the Cubs, which is my favorite team and where I grew up, they started to get really hot again with all their young core that wound up winning the World Series. So I started buying him cards, and then I'm like, well, maybe I'll buy some for myself. I really like these autographs I've been buying them. Maybe I'll get myself a Hobby Baez autograph. And that's how my PC began. And, I did start making custom cards during the pandemic, and that really kind of took off for me. And I created my own brand, wound up going to the National, made a lot of connections. And that's, where I kind of stepped in with Kris. Kris came to me actually after knowing him from going to another card shop in Augusta, Maine on Sundays. And then he started his show and we started talking more, and he asked me to come on to help with the shows. And, I bring a lot of those connections that I have within the hobby and the relationships that I have with a lot of brands in the hobby, by working with them through the art that I do.
Yeah, I remember seeing like some of those early shows. Tom, you were sat up there just right next to us while Kris is out there running the show. So it's cool to see you guys align your resources and find that synergy to come together and make something really special up in Maine.
Yeah, it seems to be going well. And I think that we do, we each bring something different to the table that works well together.
Heck yeah, you do.
Perfect partnership.
I got to ask you guys, there's been a lot of drama this week in the card world with people getting ripped off on eBay, buying these fake cards, and even getting by PSA on a couple of them. Have you guys heard about this?
I've seen it. I've seen the stuff because I follow a lot of the different, podcasts and some of the hobby news stuff. So I have seen that, and that's a total trip. Are you referring to the situation where there was, I think it was like I didn't read like all the details of it, but there was like a ring of people kind of working together, I think. And it was all led by some old guy.
Yeah, there's even selling the fake packs with the Jordan in it, which is supposed to be a sticker, and it's not even a sticker. It's pretty crazy right now in the card world, man, because I'm just getting back into this myself. My grandfather just passed away, and I got millions of cards here. So I'm really excited for this journey that we're on here, and I hope to learn a lot from you guys.
Now,
Well, you're about to.
Anyone see the one wrestler came out, I think it was yesterday or today or whatever, that she's no longer going to allow fans to come up to her at airports and things like that, because she's seen a lot of stuff that she signed being resold on eBay, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I get that. Like, listen, anyone who's been a collector knows, like, there's a right and a wrong time to approach an athlete outside of a venue to answer something. And it seems like a lot of athletes get bombarded at airports with these type of people who are looking to resell it or something like that. And I get why these athletes are upset, and it rubs people the wrong way. But there's a real simple way to do it. Say no. Only sign one item. Personalize everything. Yeah, we don't have to have this conversation.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm not one of those guys, dude. I really hate these people who ruin it for everyone. Like, there's legitimate kids who actually, love to run into their favorite WWE star or baseball star or NFL star at an airport, and now these people are second guessing themselves. Like, what is this kid or this person doing with this? And it's kind of ruined those type of experiences for people because of people who are in the hobby or just out to do this to make money.
Well, and I think you just nailed it. That's kind of where, like, especially since the pandemic, like the pandemic just changed the hobby. Like you had a lot of people coming in from like the sneakerhead community. You had a lot of people coming in maybe from like the crypto community that saw an opportunity because they heard it in the news. It was all over the place. The card hobby was exploding, right? And then, you know, after the pandemic started dying down, the bubble inevitably burst, and now we're, you know, market's correcting right now. But a lot of those people that were in here, they're gone now. You know, they came here to try to make money. But then there's that whole other part of the hobby, and I put emphasis on hobby, that there's the collectors, and collectors collect. And that's what we're here to talk about today with the Maine Collectors Convention, right? So this is like what I really like about what Kris and Tom are doing is it's not a show that you're going to go there and flip cards back and forth and try to sell cards and make a bunch of money. This one's about the purity of the hobby and where it all began and where it all really lies deep within our hearts. That sounds cheesy, but it's true, right? And that's what I like about what you guys are doing, Kris and Tom. So
I appreciate it. Yeah, you know, we really try. Both Tom and I are very community driven. You know, and we're also kid driven. You know, Tom's got kids that are, you know, in the hobby. You know, all of his kids make these really cool.
Dude, I can't even tell you, dude. My kid just got started into his.
Yeah,
like, he's already going nuts. Like I got a couple cards that are signed laying around that I bought off of eBay.
Yeah,
crazy enough as we're already talking about that. It is just for whenever he's done X, Y, and Z. So you can get him a little something. It only costs you a few dollars instead of everyone sitting there wasted. Oh, let's just give him a new video game, another game system, whatever. Like, dude, you can find something for $10-$20 that'll put a bigger smile on their face than sitting in front of a freaking screen.
Absolutely.
I mean, one of the beautiful things about the hobby coming back the way it has. I mean, granted, you know, most of us are old enough to remember when they told us at the end of 2000 the cards are dead. It's dead. There's nothing to do anymore. You know, but now it's like over, you know, the last 10, 15 years, you know, some of these specialty cards, you know, adding the autographs into packs, the patch stuff, you know, some of that stuff has kind of made it unique and rare, but, you know, it's also, there's aspects of it that make it difficult. You know what I mean? Like when you see some of these cards being sold for the outrageous amount of it, and that's going to kind of go into my next question. And Mark knows where I'm going with this. What are some of the craziest things that you guys have seen? Now, I came across one the other day. I want to get your guys' thoughts on, right? So, came across this the other day, right? Paige Van Zandt did a personalized card of hers.
Yep.
It was a kiss card.
Yep.
She sold for $13,000.
Yeah.
She's not a combat sports superstar in any way, shape, or form. She's a name. She's a beautiful woman, things of that nature. But for her to be selling a card like that for $13,000, someone rationalize this to me. Someone explain this to the Jew and me, man.
So
how is that $13,000?
I will say, you know, like you got to be careful with some of these prices, right? Because there's people that go online to eBay and jack up card prices to really set the market, you know, and this might be one of those situations because, I mean, as a collector, like, that's not very desirable for me to want to spend $13,000. I mean, don't get me wrong. Somebody out there,
listen.
possibly.
More power to you, Paige. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, you know, if you got that type of money to drop $13,000 on a card, I'll make one for you and I'll sell it to you for $5,000. You know, yeah, you know, I see some of these eBay prices and people with comps. You know,
another one up here in a second. I gotta ask you about too, man. Like. Y'all gotta explain this one to me.
It's crazy, you know.
I just said the Paige Van Zandt one that's way outrageous, right? $13,000 for that card.
Absolutely.
I don't care if she kissed it with the other lips either. It don't matter.
Well, it's like what was it when Tom Brady announced his retirement? Somebody sold the sand.
I seen that. Sold the sand.
It's like they sold the sand from where he announced his retirement. I think it went for a couple grand or something.
Someone sold some air from Aaron Judge's game too, right?
So
I mean, I'll bring this to my next one, right? Normal guy here, right? Brandon Marsh, just a Philadelphia Philly. You know, got traded to Philadelphia last year. His rookie card here is $200.
Mm-hmm.
Are you serious?
Is that a grade? Is that a?
I believe it is a grade.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, it's a PSA 10.
I believe
10,
it's a
it's
PSA
numbered to
10.
99 too.
So, people go crazy for some reason for PSA 10 cards. Brandon Marsh, I'm a big believer in Brandon Marsh. I got a bunch of his cards. I still don't
You
understand
think he's gonna blow up
why
this
the
year in
Angels
Philly?
traded him.
You think he's gonna blow up this year in Philly?
I think he is. He
I hope so, man. We need the bats here this year. With we're not gonna see number 3 until like the All-Star game.
Yeah. So I mean, that's not a ridiculous price. I think it's probably about 100 over where it should be, but
That's what I'm saying. Like when you see those, I get it when they're graded. But my thing, if I would say that would probably be proper if it was also signed. But it's just a regular grade. It's a regular graded card. I don't care.
Two things
it's a
here.
mint, it's a gem, it's a 10, it's a 9.
It's numbered though. It's numbered.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I know. And that's
it's
something
numbered
that
to 99, right?
And then it all. Yeah.
Why are the lower numbers so important, dude? Why?
Well, it also depends. Like if it's a jersey number, like right there, that's going to add more value to that card because it's a desirable card for
Steve,
collectors of Brandon Marsh.
So
Steve,
how do you get those
price or
what makes what makes the 10 so like so hard to get, and how do card collectors know when they have a 10?
Let me tell you something. PSA hands out 10s like Oprah Winfrey hands out cookbooks.
See, that's what I was thinking.
Okay? Like
that's what I was thinking. But
I mean, I'll say it. I still don't understand why PSA 10s go for the price they go at. I have a couple that I don't understand the value on it. Like for me, I'm not reselling them because they're Acuna cards. So, but like I just don't understand what the big desirable is. Like you do a submission of 15 cards and 10 of them come back as Gem Mint 10s, and you go, how is this a Gem Mint 10? There's some stuff out there that, slips through the crack. I'm not really sure how PSA does their grading system. Every card grading company has a different system of how they do it with, the variations from left to right and surfaces and stuff like that. So, me personally, I found it was harder to get a TGA 10 than it was to get a PSA 10.
I haven't got one yet. I only sent Mark a couple handfuls of them, but I had one. But all right. Yeah,
I feel like if you get a TGA 10, that's a 10 across any board you go to because they don't hand those things out lightly.
Well, isn't a 10 a perfect score?
It is, yeah.
So shouldn't the card be perfect?
Sure.
It should be. It should be.
I've seen plenty of cards out there in slabs that have a 10 on it, and it's completely obvious that it's not a 10 at all. But it should be a nearly flawless card.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
The card needs to earn a 10. We just don't give out 10s. Like
right.
People ask us at shows and stuff like, do you guys ever give out 10s? Like, no, we never give out 10s. Cards do earn 10s though.
That's a good way to look at it. I never looked at it from that way.
He just nailed it. Like he just nailed it. How this business is run anymore? Give out 10s.
Exactly.
He just nailed it.
Yep.
I've had people offer me money to give to put 10s on.
No, I would.
I probably have done that.
I think you might have.
Like, hey, Mark, I slide you this 50. That looks like a 10, right?
Yeah.
I think he gave me a lower grade on it because I tried bribing him.
He gave you a half grade lower. He's like,
that's
all right.
And,
that's what you paid for. You lost a half a point.
That's right.
Do you guys want to maybe dive into some of the show stuff?
That's exactly where
I was that literally was I was about to go with next.
Cool.
Is we touched on a couple topics now. Gotta give me the basic on what the Maine Collectors Convention is all about, the ins and outs of it.
Yeah, so to kind of backtrack a little bit about what we talked about, with kids in the hobby, we're doing this really cool thing on Sunday, sponsored by Ludex. Those guys are great. It's the kids trade zone. We have this whole area dedicated to kids and just trying to promote like good trading habits and really having them understand the concept of like cards and value. We're also doing this really cool kid scavenger hunt that it's something unique and it's never been done in Maine before, and we're giving out these really cool prizes for these kids. Tom could talk a little bit more about that. And then, we have on Saturday, we have our pack battles. We're the only one in the state of Maine to be doing pack battles. It's up on a stage. It's sponsored by G2 Heating. Those guys have been great as far as really sponsoring us. I think they've been a sponsor at every event that we've done.
Now,
PGA.
a pack battle, I've seen this on Sports Card Investor. For people who aren't aware, you get a couple packs, right? And whoever gets the most rare card keeps all of them, correct?
Yeah, well, yeah. So what it is we do it a little bit differently up here. You open, I think they're opening Topps Chrome Sonic Light this year for the pack battle. So it's a fun rip. Like those are fun cards. I think each person gets like 2 or 3 packs. They have to figure out which is the highest valued card. And then they determine that off from a couple different platforms. It's not just eBay. I think it's like 130 Point and maybe a couple other that I'm not familiar with. But and then if you win, if you lose, they let you keep those cards. If you win, you go on to the next round. And because we're giving away a lot of prizes for the top 4 finishes. So it's kind of just like a consolation prize, like, hey, you lost, but you get to keep your cards at least. So
what sort of prize are you guys doing?
To be announced.
TBA. Gotcha.
TBA.
Yeah.
So, cool. But I know last year it was like a hobby box of some baseball. We also gave away a Vladimir Guerrero bat. That was.
I got a bat question for you guys a little bit later too.
Okay. And then what else do we have? We have Andy Friedman. Tom can talk about him. He's a great Topps artist. Patrick Davis. He's a main guy. He does top Star Wars art. He's a pretty cool guy. And then Ari Lehman is going to be there, and he played Jason Voorhees in the original Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
so we're really excited about that.
About a week ago.
What's that?
He just did a signing around here about a week ago.
Yeah, I think he did it down in New Jersey on. Wasn't it New Jersey?
It wasn't New Jersey. It was in Philly.
Oh, was it Philly?
Yeah, it was
okay.
Bills.
Okay.
Bill's Sports Card. He was at.
Yeah. So he's hot
it
right
might have
now.
been in Jersey, but Bill's location is in Philly, so maybe Bill went to him. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I saw the ad. Someone asked me about him. I'm like, people can do more signings.
That goes into another thing. Like we're talking about like grading and stuff like that. When we're talking about these other hobby stuff, what are some of these things that are worth having to look at, sending to be graded for other things? Because obviously you can have things graded that aren't necessarily cards. You can have comics book graded, magazines graded, things like that.
Absolutely.
Right?
I mean, as a collector,
I guess unique things that you would say is worth having hobbyists look into having graded moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite memories I have of TGA is when Mark was going live, he said he'd slab a Oreo cookie and throw it in a TGA slab. And I was like, yo, these guys are collectors. Like that's pretty cool, like for me, like
thing.
Yeah, like I love like slabbing something because it preserves the life of it. And TGA does some really cool slabs, and we're working with them to do a very unique slab for our show with the Maine Collectors Convention. And
see, look, I already touched on something that you guys aren't even ready to announce yet.
Well, I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit. We're not ready to announce like the.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I'm sitting there getting stuff out of you. Guys aren't quite ready to announce it.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to talk about what it looks like or the details of it. But we will have a unique slab for the show. Not necessarily to be done at the show, but the only way to do it is to submit cards at the show and have the option to get that collector's label for the show. So
that's cool. So now other things with the Maine Collectors Convention. What are something you feel that separates what you guys do there at that one compared to what other ones may do in your state or in other states for that matter as well. What do you think is going to separate you guys moving forward?
I think that we're not just focused on one thing, trying to bring everything together in one roof, because especially in a place like Maine, the collectors are so spread out, you know? So why not just try to bring everybody together all at one time, the best that you can, you know? So we tried to get as wide of an array of vendors that brought all types of different things, from Funko Pops to vintage toys, sneakers, you know, obviously sports cards, comics, coins, everything that we could think of. I'm not sure if did we end up getting anybody that does vintage clothes? I'm not sure.
No, we have a couple people who do shoes. And then we have a couple people who are bringing like currency and coins.
Yeah. I hope the next time around we'll get like a little section of vintage clothes too, because we have I think that just about everywhere at this point does. And we do here in Maine have a good little community of flippers that just sell vintage. You know, they've got racks of the old Sea Dogs gear, you know, the old 90s original stuff, the teal and black stuff that's real rare. And I'd like to see that at the show. So that's what we're trying to do. Basically, the whole idea of the show, I think, is to just be different. You know?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, we're the only ones who have a pack battle at the show in the state of Maine. You know, and we're the only ones that have a card grading company with TGA. You know, I mean, that's a huge draw for us. Like I said, TGA really brings fire when they come. You know, they got that gong when you hit a 10. Like that's cool stuff right there. You know, it's a unique thing that just doesn't happen at card shows up here in Maine. You know, we're the only ones.
You got to be different. You have to. I mean, not just like, you know, you guys are trying to bring an entire state together and you know, a couple times a year at your shows, but you're trying to add every different aspect into it. Like from, you know, from listening to you guys, from, you know, antique clothes, coins, you know, it doesn't, like, your guys are looking for whoever wants to be there can be there.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm really into nostalgia. So, I mean, to me as a collector, I don't necessarily collect a whole lot of like a bunch of one thing. But I like to dabble a little bit. And there's a lot of things that even if I don't collect it, I really enjoy to see it. You know, like I don't collect vintage toys, but I have a handful of things from my childhood that I keep on a shelf in my room where I do my artwork and stuff, you know. I put them in, I rotate things in and out of my display case, and sometimes I'll throw one of my Transformers I still have up in there. Like I like to see that stuff, you know, like, and it's so cool too to see that stuff in its original packaging and that type of thing.
Those are probably the hardest ones you could ever come across, because trying to tell a kid to not open a toy when they're like you know 5-6 years old getting a hold of something like that. Yeah.
I see G.I. Joes a lot. I love to see all that stuff, you know, the toys from the 80s and the 90s.
I'm telling you, those are big.
I did collect a lot of everything when I was a kid. Like there wasn't anything I didn't collect, but I think that kind of went hand in hand with kids from the 80s in general, you know, and into the 90s. Because, you know, I mean, cards came with friggin' cupcakes and cereal and they were.
You just remember that? It used to come in like the freaking pops and stuff like that.
Yeah. I was looking through an old comic book the other day, and there's a full page ad for pudding, and you could you save a couple pudding tops and mail them in, and you got a baseball card. Like everybody was doing it. So it was just kind of like ingrained in us, I think. So
that's funny. I remember when Hatfields, Phillies, Franks used to have vouchers for tickets in the hot dogs where you could go to specific games.
Yeah, that's cool.
So like there's like when you're talking about stuff like that, like that used to happen a lot during, like as you were talking about, like during the 80s, during the 90s, you would see a whole lot of that stuff. Out all kinds of stuff, you know. As you're talking about, you open up a comic book and there's an ad for pudding.
Oh, Wheaties, there you go.
Throwing the old Wheaties box in there.
Yeah, the show, you know, going back to the scavenger hunt, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I actually tapped my friends that have an account on Instagram called Reckless Cards, and there are a couple that live somewhere in the Midwest. I forget exactly where, but they've been doing a scavenger hunt for a while now. They have it down, and they were kind enough to share with me, their artwork that they use for their flyers for it, and all the signs that they make, the plan, how many people to do it with and stuff. So we're going to have probably 10 vendors that we're going to ask to work with us on it, where kids can go to the vendors and they'll either play a quick game with them, or they can just do a question, whatever the vendors are wanting to do. And then the kids will get a card punched. Once they have all their stamps, they can come and collect a prize.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's different.
Now, let me ask you guys this one as we get the last few questions about the convention. So, I guess obviously everyone's kind of goal at this point in time is get to what, like Comic-Con type level?
I mean, it would be cool to have a big show and to be able to have the money to get like a really dope, nationally known music act to perform and have that be part of the show, part of the trade night maybe. It's something that I would have loved to do this year, even with like a local artist, but there's already so much going on, and with it being the first show, I didn't want to take that on. But we definitely have big aspirations, and it's not necessarily about just being like huge. It's more just about creating the dopest experience that we can create for the collectors here in Maine, and for them to not have to leave their state to get that experience. To have it right in our backyard and to do it ourselves. So,
hey, listen, like you said, everyone wants to get those big things. I like the fact that you're not even thinking of bringing like people, celebrities to sign. You want to bring in a music act to kind of bring more people in.
Well, yeah, I think people want to be entertained, and I think that just recently it clicked with me, and I can't say the word enough. Like, I'm just really focused on that word experience, because people throw card shows, people throw trade nights, and they are experiences, but people aren't really trying to push it outside of that box. So I want to, I want to talk about some of the ideas that we have for events coming up this year, but I really can't talk about them yet. But it's like really out of the box stuff, and just creating something new and exciting for people in the hobby.
Yeah, Tom, I love that you said experience, because that's when we do live grading at shows, that's what we're trying to bring. We're trying to bring an experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Make sure it's an experience.
Like why some reasons, like if there's a guy that's signing it sometimes, and sometimes you want to go there for that, but then other times there's a lot of times I'll completely miss events just because there's nothing that interests me about going there, regardless of who's signing or whatever. And as your guys talking about the experience, you want people to go to the events multiple times throughout the week. And just having people there signing stuff. Oh, well, we have this athlete who was a player 40, 50 years ago, or they're going to do a free sign. That's not enough to get people to come in the door and spend money and want to go there multiple times for multiple hours. And
I also think that, for an experience, it's really great if you can touch on all of like the senses, so like music, and having live music creates such a vibe within itself. Even
you're talking big things here. I mean, you're talking live performances.
It wouldn't take too much to have a live band.
No, not at all.
Especially a local live band. It's just it just adds a little bit more to the production. It's another thing to take on.
Of course, and I think it's totally doable. I've seen it firsthand.
Even a reggae band, a funk, like a band that plays funk and reggae, just upbeat.
Tom, hit me up. I have many years in the music industry, specifically on reggae and reggae rock.
I know.
I can get you hooked up with a band. So I'm curious though. I want to peel it back a little bit, peel the layers back, because we're talking big things for like the future and stuff. But I know we touched on, Kris mentioned in the beginning that, started out with a 25 table show, but it wasn't just a 25 table show on that day a couple of years back to present day March 23. There was a lot of things that happened in between there, including multiple shows, the grind, the hustle, the phone calls. Can you guys kind of speak to what that's looked like over the past couple of years, starting from a 25 table show to now talking about 200 table shows?
Yeah, I mean it's been a roller coaster ride. The idea first came out sitting at a Walmart parking lot at 5 a.m. waiting for them to open to chase some cards because you got all these flippers getting there super early. I'd go after work and it's like, oh, I can't get anything. So get there early, and it was me and a couple other guys local to the area. We're like, hey, we should do a 2-day show or just do a card show here because there was a couple like an hour, 2 hours away. And that's a long drive in the state of Maine. It's a big state. So, the conversation happened, and you know what? Nobody wanted to do anything with it. And I was like, I'll give it a shot. I reached out to the Elks, and they were more than welcoming. And, like Mark said, we did our first 2-day show or our first 1-day show with 25 tables. And
so for those people that might be interested in starting a show wherever they're at, across the country, across the world, they're interested, they want to start a show, they've been thinking about it. What was that first few steps that you took? Once that light went off, you said, you know what, I'm going to do this. What did that look like? Did you start reaching out to card shops in the area, just some people that you knew?
Yeah.
How'd you fill those first 25 tables?
I reached out to friends. I have a lot of friends in the hobby, and I reached out to them, and a couple, the card shops really weren't too big about it, being a pandemic. We did start this show during the pandemic, so that was a bit of a challenge for us.
A bit of a challenge, yeah.
Yeah, but I literally was on social media posting about how we're doing this show, and and I still feel like the biggest break that we had was TGA saying yes to coming to our show. That's what started separating this show from other shows in the state of Maine. Is we're the only one to have a card grading company come to the show, and it's been such a huge success because they have a following and they post on their social media. The first show they did great, second show, third show, fourth show, fifth show. We're going on our sixth show now, and every show we just try to make it different and bigger and better and try to come up with unique things. So I'd say for anyone starting and thinking about doing a show, it's a big commitment, but you just got to take a chance, network, post on social media. It's a grind every day. Mark can tell you, he grinds every day. I'll talk to him at 9 o'clock at night, and he's like, hey, I'm just leaving the office. I mean, they're committed. We're committed. That's why it works so great for us.
So how did it feel after that first show was done?
I get so nervous. Tom will tell you, I'm already amped up for this April show. I did, you always get worried because you really put your soul, your heart into these shows. And, both Tom and I love this hobby. And, we put a lot of hard work and effort just into these shows. And, Tom has to talk me off the ledge all the time. I'm like, Tom, what if nobody shows? And he's like, listen, you just need to take a step back, take a deep breath. And it's such a relief after these shows. They've been a huge success. So
you're probably the walk-in anxiety case before the first person walks in the door.
Oh my God, probably. I overthink everything. It's terrible, but
we all do to an extent.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah, and we also do food trucks at the show, which is huge. The last couple shows we've gone with Heroes on Wheels. It's a veteran-owned food truck, and I'm a big supporter of veterans and everything they do. And it's been a great show. I love it. I'm so grateful for all of our vendors, all of our loyal customers who come and support our show. It's a great thing.
What was the hardest part? Finding a place or getting vendors to come in?
I'd probably say getting vendors, right? Some people, are all about supporting local shows. Some people are all about just the money, they look at it as time is money. And, if I got to come and spend, $100 on a table and $300 on a hotel room, how much can I make back? But and Tom will tell you, like, our prices are the lowest prices you're ever going to find for a convention. Like, we keep it low because we're about our vendors and really making sure that they have a great experience at the show. Because if they don't come back, we don't have a show. And that's at the end of the day, like, that's what it is. If people don't realize that, you can have David Ortiz come to your show, but if you don't have vendors at your show,
you're only going to get, a couple handful of people going to buy autographs or have this, that, and the third done. So
exactly.
Even if you have David Ortiz and whoever signing autographs that day, unless you have the other side of that, it's only going to half work.
Exactly. And that's why our show is mostly successful, is because we have some of the best vendors in the state of Maine. We treat them right. We promote the show the best that we can. Every day we're posting something on social media or reaching out and trying to make this show better. And that's what people want to see, and that's why people come to the show, is because we have the vendors and they have the great unique stuff. So
heck yeah, they do. That's what I love about it. It's a collector's convention. You get everything that you talked about earlier: shoes, toys, pops, cards,
comic books,
memorabilia, comic books. I mean,
yeah.
it's like you just
now,
geek out.
I'm gonna get.
I mean, so
for you guys, who is your favorite? I guess big star, big celebrity collector. Mine is the one and only Mr. Adam Sandler. I seen this on social media the other week. I guess he went to some card shop in Boston. It's cleaning them out.
Yeah, because he's supposedly doing a movie about the hobby.
Obviously, he has to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, right now, Adam's probably the one guy in I guess the celebrity world that literally touches all parts of it. He as far as acting and everything else he does. Who are some of your guys' favorite collectors, celebrity or non-celebrity?
I'm not even sure.
I don't know if I have a favorite.
I'm trying to think of celebrity collectors, and
Gary V comes to mind. He's a big collector. Blake Martinez, the football player from the
everyone's got to mention Blake at this point in time. He's threw
been all over the
money
news
from the NFL and made more money selling cards this past year than he did his last contract.
He did like $5 million in like a year or two or something
he did
crazy.
$5 million Pokemon cards, and his last contract was $1 million.
You know who I heard? I
heard
heard Brian
collectors.
Cranston.
There's some great collectors on Instagram that I follow. One of them, his name is Yamwax. And like he just collects like the most random cards, but he'll have like a PSA 10 Muhammad Ali like art card from like the 1965 or something. It'll be like this beautiful card that you didn't even know existed. A lot of like first like rookie cards for rock bands and stuff, like a Jimi Hendrix cards and things like that. Just things that you don't always think of. And then you see it and you're like, wow, that thing is freaking cool.
So that's basically something you'd see over at Ryan Sampson's table.
Yeah, that
Coliseum.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He's got that wild stuff, which is really cool to see.
I enjoyed seeing all that types of stuff. I mean, like pop culture type of stuff.
Totally.
Yeah. For me, I'm a huge baseball guy, huge baseball fan. I think that Mike Trout, he collects his own cards, which I'm sure other athletes do the same. But I mean, that dude will buy a 1-on-1 off from you, and he'll trade you like his bat, his cleats, his jersey. He'll sign everything just to get his 1-on-1 from you, which I think that's pretty cool. So,
what do we got there?
I definitely got love for Trout because he loves Philly. So
that's a 1957 Red Sox road flannel, game worn by my great uncle Billy Klaus.
Billy Klaus.
Yeah. It's the Billy Klaus collection.
Where's you get the slab we got you in there?
It is it's in the case. It's in the bottom here. It's back there in the corner.
Look at that collection. Beautiful.
Yeah, there you
go. Me sitting with Ted Williams.
Is that a Ted Williams autographed baseball right there too? I love that picture, by the way.
Yeah, well he signed these Upper Deck Baseball Heroes when I met him this day, the day of this photo.
That is Awesome.
These are signed by the entire Red Sox team from the 50s. There's 2 of those. Yeah.
That's great. I'm a big Ted Williams fan, so as you might have noticed.
I think that kind of puts us right into our one of our last few questions, because me and Mark were talking about what are some of your most unique stuff? What are some of your most, like, some of the stuff that you really don't think anyone might or might not even have? You're probably the only one that'll collect this. What's some of your odd stuff? Oh, here it goes.
About my 1957 Swift meets Jackie Jansen. So this is a 3D card shoot. This came flat in a package of meat. You had to pop all the player pieces out.
That's cool.
And you put it together, and it makes this 3D baseball player.
That's really cool. What year was that, you said?
I think it's 57. And it,
wow.
It only has the player name on the bottom, and I thought it was a likeness to my uncle from that year. So
that's
just
really
a cool
cool
thing to get. You don't see them pop up a lot. There
I've
are
never
some.
seen one, yeah.
You definitely don't.
If you look them up on eBay right now, you'll see some that are still. It's really cool to see them intact in the like this big card where you pop the arm out and the legs out and stuff. They're expensive though. I think I paid $30 for that, like a couple of years ago.
Nice.
What about you, Kris? What's some of your kind of favorite unique things that you like to collect?
I mean, I'm a huge Acuna fan, like to the point where it's probably crazy. I got a bunch of.
You talking to the wrong person about that.
Yeah,
Wayne and Philly don't get along, dude.
So like,
especially for baseball. I mean, we talk about.
I wonder if I can flip this around. I don't know if I can. Yeah, so like, I think I have roughly like 700 Acuna cards. My favorite Acuna card is right here, made by my boy, the card carver.
Look at that.
That one, I love it. Sits right at the top of my collection.
Is that a 1 of 1?
That is a 1 of 1. I hope it is, at least. But one of the more unique.
Talking about fake cards.
Yeah, one of the more unique things I have is back in 2004. Me and a bunch of friends, after we graduated, went to a Portland Sea Dogs game, and it was a Tim Wakefield bobblehead night, and they were playing the New Hampshire Fisher Cats, and Aaron Hill was playing, and I saw him before the game, and I was like, "Hey, man, like, can I get your autograph? Sign a ball for me?" Yeah. And he saw I had a Tim Wakefield bobblehead, and he was like, "Hey," he's like, "I want that bobblehead." I was like, "All right." I'm like, I want something from you. And I was like, how about your bat after the game? He's like, all right, come see me after the game. And so he actually hit a home run that game. Nice. And
damn, there's a win right there.
And I still have it. So it's this really cool Aaron Hill, Toronto Blue Jays.
Wow.
Bat from 2004. I mean the tape's all worn off, but it had tape and pine tar.
Now, is that the bat that he hit the home run with?
It was, yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Nice.
And like I was so stoked. I got a back
question for you guys later that I came across when I was just going through stuff on social.
Yeah.
But wait, I gotta grab my unique thing. Hold on, give me 1 sec.
All right. Yeah, but I was so happy to get that bat, and all my friends were like, "Oh, give me that bat." I'm like, "No." It's not happening.
It's
really not happening. So,
I need a bat. I don't have a bat. I really, you know what? That's gonna be a goal this year is to get a bat because
I got a Wander Franco bat sitting right here.
Yeah, well, let's work a little deal. I got a serial number 11 for you,
Mr. Franco.
Oof! What are you doing? Let's go.
He's got it in the tube too.
Wander Franco with the.
What are you doing with it?
Beckett Hollow, Beckett cert right there.
What are you doing with it? Let's go.
Well, it's sitting right there because I'm staring. I'm staring. I don't know how to flip this camera around, but I'm looking at an Acuna bat right in front of me and 5 Acuna photos. So.
Well, let's work on getting that Wander Franco. That's cool. I like it.
I mean, you got low serial number, so.
I got plenty of low serial numbers right next to me here. You know the drawer.
I know listen. I don't know. Mark has the coolest drawer I've ever seen in my life. This dude's got bangers just sitting in his drawer, like right next to him, unlocked.
He's waiting for you to drop something. So he's like, "Hey, what's up, dude?"
I tell you, man.
He's waiting for you, Kris.
I try to go down to see those guys. And that's the other thing. They're a local shop. Like, absolutely, everyone in New England should be supporting TGA.
Thank you, man.
Collectors for collectors. Like, that's the greatest thing in the world. Like, one of my favorite pieces. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. Put that camera off. Let's see if I can find it.
I grabbed a few of mine, so I'm gonna show you guys this one. So came across this one. This was signed from Vinny Panzianza. Glove that I sent.
That's cool. Yeah, that glove. It's a fight worn.
Whole 9. Right?
Is that fight worn?
No. It's just, remember I told you I had sponsorship with Rev Gear, right? So my kids, got to the point where they didn't want to train as much anymore. So I had the gloves laying around. I was going to send Vinny some stuff, so I sent him the gloves, and he personalized it to like that. But my other one is even more unique. This is the one I was trying to tell you about. This is former Bellator fighter Mike Richmond.
That's
Those
cool.
are fight-worn gloves that still has his opponent's blood on them.
Okay, so that's cool.
Yeah, so I remember I told you I had it framed the whole 9. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I mean, can we get like a DNA test to prove?
Well, I mean,
so
if you include a DNA test,
I didn't want to. I mean, I'm not trying to scratch the DNA.
Yeah,
I haven't set in to see whose it is. But.
So one of the more unique things that I love about it is I got this TGA flow label hollow. Like, if you look at that, like, that's just such a dope card. The way it's kind of, this light doesn't do it any justice.
And it's in that plastic. It's in that plastic too.
I keep everything in plastic.
Yeah, right.
Let's see here.
Look at that. Look at that flow. That's beautiful.
Oh yeah, that's gorgeous.
And we got better too. We got really, really good with the bringing out the mosaic patterns throughout the label too. So we'll have to get you an updated one because they are insane. Let me tell you that.
I mean, just the stuff that you guys do is, it's.
And actually, the funny part is, the thing with Vinny, the gloves. I was talking to Mark about this. I actually found a set on eBay from when he broke his neck, and they did I guess someone made a unique set of cards. So I grabbed them. So I'm gonna send that to him over the summer. Send him the Mark, and we're gonna do a little special grading with some Vinny stuff.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
that'd be cool. Yep.
That's really cool. That's really unique.
Not only will they're rare cards because not a whole lot of cards were made for Vinny.
Right.
But they're also from like I said, when he broke his neck, the whole 9. So
they're signed.
And Vinny, he always does some cool personalization with everything. Like you seen the glove, he put 50 wins on it.
Yeah, the inscriptions are nice.
So he does he does a real cool personalized compared to how some other athletes are. They'll just be like, "Who's this to?" John. Okay, here you go. Here, John.
Yeah.
And Vinny really makes it cool. Like I said, he put the 50 wins on it, the whole 9. Like I've seen him do stuff where he literally writes out like how many championships he's won. Dude probably arguably should be in all of boxing Hall of Fame, but still something him and his team are still working on, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. Mike Tyson's coming to New England for a signing. I've been thinking
Actually, Mike and Vinny are really close too.
Are they? Yeah, I see that. Maybe we could trade that Wander bat for that Mike Tyson knockout. I see it.
One, yeah,
I've been eyeballing it since you got on.
Do you see the Nintendo controller built into there too?
Yeah, I have seen those. Yeah, there's a shop in Southern Maine who sells those. That's really cool. That's really cool. But
Tyson's probably one of my GOAT autographs I gotta get.
Yeah.
I mean, like I was just like everyone. I was a collector when in the 80s and 90s, but it was like one of those things. I was as a kid, we moved around so much, stuff got lost, damaged, destroyed, whatever.
Yeah, putting your bike spokes.
Where dude, my collection's not even a quarter what I was when I was a kid.
Yeah,
not even a quarter.
I totally feel you.
It's like almost starting over again. But then, like I said, like my son's 11 now, so he's getting to the point where he's getting everything. Like when they won the Super Bowl, the Eagles won the Super Bowl back in 2017. We found him, Nick Foles card. Come on, don't hate, don't hate. You guys lost that game fair and square. No cheating was involved.
Whoa, listen, I had a physics professor who always told me, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Oh man, here you go. You ain't cheating.
But yeah, so to touch on the show real quick, one thing I forgot to mention is another aspect of our show is the Magic the Gathering mini games that we have going on, and the trade night happening in that same room at later. Once the show gets done, we're hosting a trade night up in that room, and I don't remember her name. I wish Tom was still here. Autumn, I think Kitty Autumn. She finished second.
She had won like Master Chef or something, right?
Yeah, she came in second on Master Chef Legends.
Yeah,
and she's very big within the Pokemon community.
I saw her Instagram page. She is very big in into the hobby.
She is, yeah. And Tom managed to get her to come up to the show, and we're really excited. She's going to be signing autographs on Sunday, actually.
So that should
she's
be
going to be at trade night.
Big one too.
What's that?
Yeah, that should be a big guest too, because you're catering to that whole other side of people too.
Yep, exactly.
Actually, you probably get some sports heads in there too, just because.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I feel you. Yeah, and one other thing is, I know I mentioned it earlier, Andy Friedman. Andy Friedman was the Spotlight 70 Tops artist. He did that series, Spotlight 70. He's going to be at the show.
Which are super underrated products.
He really, I have two of his cards sitting right here. And there's your Braves card for you, Andrew Jones. And
that light's hurting, but
that light's killing
right?
you right now.
I gotta figure out what to do here. Hold on.
Just kind of flash around. You'll find the sweet spot.
There we go. Yeah. So, and then there's this Mets.
Wow, look at that.
That's
Willie Mays.
Yeah, I was about to say that. That's the Say Hey Kid, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I picked him up because he's going to be at the show. So I'm like, hey, you designed these. You want to sign up for me? And I'm going to get him slabbed with TGA because
is he going to do a custom?
So I think he's going to do a custom. I don't know if he's going to do a custom card or a custom poster. Tom has the details on that. But I know he is going to do something unique for our show. And,
maybe
we're so excited.
It might be worth asking if he would be open to doing a custom artist series label for TGA.
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely open that dialogue with him.
To pair with the card that he might do, like obviously we'd compensate him for his services, but that sounds like it'd be something pretty cool to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So speaking about of the show, I kind of want to bring it back. So the new show, April show, tell us where it is, what people should expect, who you got going, the whole nine.
Yeah, so it's April 22nd and 23rd at the Augusta Civic Center. Kids under 12 are free. There's a $10 door fee. What to expect is it's going to be the largest show the state of Maine has ever seen. Like, hands down, it's going to be, I'm hoping, the biggest event the state of Maine has ever seen. And, we're really driving home community involvement and just trying to get kids into the hobby because, we don't want to see this hobby die off. And, Mark will tell you, like, we give away so many free things to kids. Our last show, we had Andrew Raycroft, the former Boston Bruins goalie. He was at the show, and I was just giving out free signed cards to kids, just walking around, handing them out. We give out hockey pucks to kids, photos.
Yeah, have some fun.
Yeah, Mark Rogers was there, former first-round pick for the Milwaukee Brewers. He's a Maine native. I think he went 5th or 6th overall in 2004.
Is he going to the
He was
next
there.
show?
What's that?
Is he going to April?
He is not. No, unfortunately, there was a timing issue. We just couldn't make it work for him this year. We hope to have him back for future shows. He's a great guy. He still works. He's very community-driven, too. He works, I think, with the high school the school he went to high school with. And, he's their baseball pitching coach or something.
So it was a little difficult to line up. So you're going to have Ari Lehman.
Yep.
Who is
he played Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th.
Jason. I want to make sure I had him right. And then what's his name? The artist.
Andy Friedman.
Andy Friedman, who did the Topps cards. You're going to have the Pokemon influencer, the Master Chef winner. Was it?
I want to say her name's Kitty Autumn. I know that's her Instagram handle. I don't know
So,
her actual
Probably like Autumn or something, right? Yeah.
Autumn, some last name. I'm not sure. I don't even want to try to pronounce it because I'll probably butcher it.
Are we going to see any other guests as well?
So we have Patrick Davis. He's
Davis.
the Topps Star Wars guy. He's actually working on a custom card for us that I think it's going to be unique. I guess I can kind of talk a little bit about it. So we're gonna try to do a Luke versus Darth Vader kind of take on it, but Luke's going to be wearing a Jason Voorhees mask.
Ooh.
And Darth Vader is going to be having a Freddy like gloves or hat. We still to be determined.
What?
Yeah, and we're going to play into Pack Wars, and so it's going to say Pack Wars in the Star Wars font. And if all goes well, I mean, they're going to be ripping cards, and they're going to have empty packs, like the plastic at their feet. They're going to be ripping cards. That's what we're looking to have. So we'll see. Yep. We'll see what actually happens. I'm pretty excited for it, actually.
Well,
so it should be.
The Luke versus Vader thing. What about any new stuff? Are you going to bring in any Mandalorian stuff?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm not a big Star Wars guy. So
you'll have to be, man.
Yeah, he actually, I think he did a Mandalorian card for Topps in their Star Wars artist series.
I was just saying that because literally the Mandalorian, the third season, just came out like a few weeks ago.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, see, I've been watching Full Swing on Netflix. I love golf, and it's
how is that? Is that a good show?
It's a good series. I like it so far. I'm only 2 episodes in, and it really shows you to the other side of golf that people don't see, and with everything going on.
What's your favorite sports TV show?
My favorite sports TV show.
Yeah, like it don't have like we've seen all kinds of things like what was it, the one that Rock did recently was Ballers.
Ballers was so good.
I haven't seen it.
I loved.
Yeah.
Listen,
so
I've been a critic of Rock over the last few years, but Ballers is probably one of the few things that he did that I think really hit you on another level.
It's like Entourage mixed with that show Entourage. It kind of reminds me of that.
Come on now. Of course, I've seen Entourage.
All right, so it's got that sort of vibe to it.
Really think about it.
All right.
If you think about it like this, if you could see behind the scenes of every type of sports agency, is what he literally kind of gave everyone a blueprint through.
Yeah.
See, listen, I'll be honest. There's so much, like, every day I come home and I'll eat dinner with my wife, and then we'll sit down, and then my phone rings, and it's either a vendor or Tom or a booking agent or our advertisement that we deal with that Mark actually set us up with.
Me last night at whatever hour that was.
Yeah, Mark and I talked at like 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night. So I really don't have a ton of time. Like, I've been wanting to watch March Madness.
You got to brainstorm. I know how it is.
Yeah, like I've missed so many March Madness games, and I'm super bummed because I love watching them and those upsets. So
yeah.
So you're more into college basketball than anything?
I'm more into baseball. But I love watching competitive sports, and in all honesty, like college basketball, I feel college sports in general, those kids leave it on the line. It's not about contracts or.
I like talking about too, because like we've seen how much it's changed, and we're getting into this next set of change of what college athletics is, considering they're getting to the point where these kids are going to actually be paid for their time and all that. We're going to start seeing where, like next time, what the real thing is when we see NCAA football come out again, making sure these kids are actually paid and things like that. And you don't just see numbers on guys. Remember that?
Yeah.
You just like,
just enjoy it the way it is
number
right
10
now.
at Ohio State was supposed to be, this guy, but you just have number 10.
Yeah. Yeah, so
but actually, I think that's going to help the gaming side of it a lot better, because these guys' likenesses and everything else will already be on, I guess, the EA platform.
Yeah,
so it should be interesting to see how that happens on top of some of the other things that change for them. But
One thing that,
in my opinion, I think the college basketball tournament is bigger than the college football tournament just because it's on a bigger scale.
oh, absolutely. And honestly, like,
Don't
college
get me wrong, I
football,
love college football. They have a flawed championship system where I think the NCAA basketball has a better way to go about it.
yeah, I think college football doesn't get the right marketing. That, people are like, I don't want to watch a football game because it's on during the NFL, right? NFL seasons when college football season's on. The same thing with basketball, but
we tune in Thursday nights, we tune in Saturday nights, we tune in Sunday nights. What does it matter if it's college or pro?
It's I guess I don't know. It's just the way the society we live in. It's so people are. But I'll be honest, I've been to a couple tailgating events with friends who, by tailgating, I mean they're chilling out in their yard and they're rooting for Ohio State. And I mean these guys are the hardest core guys I've ever met in my life, and I'm just I don't understand it. But come every sport has its diehard fans.
Tell me that they're the same.
What's that?
I said, come tailgate in Philly once and tell me it's the same.
Listen, I love a Philly cheesesteak, so
Oh man, don't tell me you're going to say Pat and Gino's because then we're going to have a problem.
Listen, the only time I've been to Philly is I had a layover in Philly, and whatever was at that airport, I don't remember what it was.
It's Tony Luke's is the one that's in the airport.
All right, then I went to Tony's. It was delicious.
Tony Luke's ain't bad. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I just hate with these people like when they're like, all right, are we going to Pat or Gino's when we go to Philadelphia? I'm like, you do realize those are tourist attractions, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's not actually where you go get good cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
Sandro's is one of them. They got a couple locations, and Steve Prince of Steaks is one of my favorites.
Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah, I mean, if I'm ever down in Philly,
Yeah, dude, you ever down in Philly, hit me up. I'll take you on the tour, dude.
Yeah. Well, listen, come up to Maine. We
gotta get you guys down and have some fun, man.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we gotta get you up to Maine. We have some fun up here.
George already trying to line me up for a Red Sox game sometime this season, so we'll figure out something, get us all together, do something. It'll be fun.
Sounds good. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Kris, we're totally excited for your show. I know how you roll. You know how we roll. We have a good time.
Oh, we always do.
I know the crowd's going to be great. I've already been getting plenty of messages on Facebook and Instagram asking if we're going to be at the show. And they're calling it the Maine Collectors Convention. So the word is spreading, and thanks for joining us. Tom disappeared, but I do appreciate him joining as well.
Yeah.
So much love to you, man. I appreciate you sharing the story and just really excited. So we're going to see you in like 32 days or something like that. So
yeah,
we're going to get up there early on Friday, make sure we have time to go grab some food, maybe set up at the show a little bit, and let's rip it. Have some fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a great show. I always love seeing you guys, and the night before is always a good night. Yeah, I'll stay up way past my bedtime, but information, and I'll reach out to them. Anything we can do to draw people to this show. Like, when Tom and I were planning this, originally the name of the show was the Maine Sports Convention. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Why are we handcuffing ourselves by calling it a sports convention? This is a collectors convention. And it really, it goes around what we do with TGA. TGA is a grading company owned by collectors for collectors, and that's really what we're driving home is this is a collector's convention. It's not just sports or just Pokemon. It's comic books, coins, anything that's really collectible. And, we talked about, we were so close to getting an arcade alley where it's just all vintage arcade games for kids to play for free. I mean, it unfortunately fell through the crack, but, it's something that we can look for next show, and have cool vintage games. Like, if they had the old NBA jams, I'd be sitting there for hours playing that.
And do like a little tournament or something.
And we've talked about doing that. We actually thought about renting one of those little basketball hoops that keeps score and just, having that free for kids and running a tournament. And then, we talked about getting a hit tracker and doing a home run derby or a golf simulator and doing a golf tournament. We're trying to get some VR stuff and, do something related to either MLB or football or something.
Dude, we could do a guess the grade tournament.
That would actually be pretty cool.
and something
That would be
that's
pretty cool.
totally doable. Like I do it live with, like, when there's kids there, I'll do a guess the grade, like, while they're standing in front of me, and if they win or if they guess it, I give them a pack of cards, whether it's sports or Pokemon or something like that, and they love it. The parents love it, the kids love it. So doing something like that, people love getting involved and trying to guess that stuff. It's fun.
Oh, absolutely. Like, so we have a 24 by 24 foot stage with 50 chairs set up in front of it. So, like, and we still have 124 tables and 8 booths.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is a
We're
big
gonna have
venue.
some fun. We're gonna have
It's
some
like,
fun.
There's tons of stuff we can do. We can fit up to 215 tables in this area.
You don't have any hotel discounts, right? Group rates or anything like that?
We do. Remember with the Marriott, we do have that room rate with the Marriott.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was they gave us $20 off. I mean, it was the most expensive hotel in the area, and I was like, well, we're gonna room rate with them to give a little bit of a break, and it was also the nicest one.
How much is it?
I think it's $149 for a night.
Can you send me a link? I booked hotel rooms at the Hilton, whatever the Hilton is, the Civic Center one, and I spent like a grand on 3 rooms.
You got to call.
But I gotta bring another person out, so I can put them in a different hotel. That's fine. But
so cancel your reservation. If you did it at the Marriott, cancel your reservation and call them and tell them you're with the Maine Collectors Convention. That's how you get the room rate.
I'll
Get it done, fellas. Get it done.
Hey, Steve. After Kris pops off, are we gonna do like an ending of the show or something?
Yeah, we can do so obviously we can do a kind of like an exit out.
Like a sign off.
So
okay.
Is that your way of booting me out of here?
Since
no, it just
since Tom left, I guess what I do with our typical thing is do a little send off.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can check us out on Facebook. It's the Maine Collectors Convention. You can follow us on Instagram, the MCC 2023. Check us out we're going to be posting our video for the show, and then we're always posting updates on there. And just stay tuned and check us out. I hope the next time we do this, it's live from the Maine Collectors Convention. And,
not a problem with me.
and the great thing about it is we can have Ari come over and do a segment with you, and we can have Andy and Patrick. They can come over and talk about their specialties, and we do have an athlete lined up. I'm very weary to announce it because of what happened with the Springfield show.
Yeah, I saw there.
Oh, that's why you hold it close to the vest until you know it's 100% in.
Yeah, it is what
I do the same thing. Like I'll know guests. Like I know my guest star. Like last week when I finished my show, I'll just be loose with it. I'll be like, it's a UFC middleweight. At this time we'll see what happens between Friday and Friday if they're going to be on if something happens, because life happens, man. We can't control it.
Yeah, exactly. But regardless, if we don't have, whether we have an athlete there at the show or not, it's still going to be the best show in the state of Maine.
You know it. I'm pumped. Let's go.
I'm so stoked. Let's
go. Yes.
And I'll be in touch.
Sounds good,
Kris.
my friend.
All right, take care, guys.
You too, bud.
Bye-bye.
All right,
See ya,
everyone.
man.
That was Kris from the Maine Collectors Convention.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining episode 1 of CardCore Hobby Talk. Steve, appreciate all your help during that. That was a great episode with Kris. With Kris and Tom with the Maine Collectors Convention. Stay tuned. April 22nd, April 23rd at the Civic Center in Portland, Maine. Huge show. Going to be a great time. And then as far as the podcast is concerned, episode 1, we have a lot of great things coming. We're not going to say what it is yet, but we have a potential big guest next week. Guests lined up over the next few weeks, actually. And you know what, Steve? I didn't get a chance to show off my weird stuff, my weird collectibles. I got a few things behind me over here, but I didn't get a chance to talk about any of the other stuff. I have the infamous drawer down here too that is filled.
Yeah, I know. Kris was telling us about the infamous drawer over there.
Yeah, so I'm excited to share all that with you. In the next few episodes, I want to start talking about, we talked about, graded cards today and how they get 10s and maybe how they don't get 10s and what's the difference between a 9 and a 10. Like I want to go into some of that stuff. to inform the community on what to look for before they send their cards in, and show them how easy it is to grade with, not just TGA or whatever grading company they choose to go with. Just really excited to get it going, man. We're here to do. Give us a follow on Twitter, CardCore Podcast, at CardCore Podcast. Give us a follow, show some love, and stay tuned in to all the big things that we get coming up. I'm telling you, we got some big stuff. I'm excited. Let's go, Steve.
Let's go. That's right. LFG, people. LFG.